What is going on, Nissan Nation? From all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to way out in the LA area to way down in the ATL area. This is your Nissan Nation, and I'm your host, David Boyd. And we got Daniel Groders over there, and we got another D in the house. His name is Spencer with Z1. What is going on, gentlemen?
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, Dave?
I feel like it's been a while since we've talked.
I was getting double. I was getting right as you kicked off the show. I had the wife poke her head, and I was like, "Oh, what do I respond to? It's not important."
Right.
Obviously, I looked at my wife.
Well,
It's pretty good than you, Dave.
So, Danny, we'll just get into this real quick. Danny, how is it LA? I see y'all are mandatory to wear a mask. You can't sing anymore. What is going on out there, man?
I'm not wearing a mask, and I'm singing, Dave, and I'm drinking a lot of beer, and there were a shite ton of fireworks lit off yesterday. I got on the news, and I was watching like a news chopper over LA that was taking video of over LA, and it looked like the craziest war zone ever, except it was exciting, and it was like freedom fireworks going off everywhere. So that was pretty sweet.
Well, did you see where it was like, I guess in Arizona, they were illegal to shoot fireworks, and it shows this plane landing, and all you see is just fireworks all over Phoenix, just like crazy, man. It was awesome.
I think so. I think that's how it was everywhere that I didn't get to have fireworks. People stayed home. They said, "Screw this! You're gonna try and stuff me at my house on Freedom Day? I'm gonna do freedom things. It's free."
That's right, man. Well, speaking of free things or not free things, we got Daniel over here, or Spencer. I'm sorry. See, Danny, you got me all screwed up now. So we got Spencer here with Z1 Offroad and Z1 Motorsports. What is up, Spencer?
Oh, not too much. Glad to be on. Appreciate you guys having me.
Right, man. Well, you know, you've been in the chat areas with us, and you know, you point out every time me and Danny talk something wrong. We thought, well, why not bring him on board and just let him see what it's like to misinform people.
Oh yeah, no, I like that. That's I'm running with the best.
Well, so for those that don't know, and how do you not know, Z1 Motorsports has been around for quite a long time, and if you buy anything Z, at some point you've probably ran across Z1 Motorsports, but you guys kicked off Z1 Offroad, last fall sometime, and like you had SEMA was kind of your coming out party a little bit with the dually that I got to drive, and like you've been going ever since, right?
Yeah, it's been fun so far. I mean, for me, I think a lot of folks think of Z1 and it's purely Z, kind of is the
Right.
thought process, and we're really a lot more than that. I mean, it's a team of a lot of really dedicated Z enthusiasts, but most of those guys are at heart even deeper, like car enthusiasts. So they have appreciation for things, you know, way beyond the scope of just Z cars.
Well, you should steal Nissan's A to Z thing somehow, because you guys are basically A to Z anymore, right?
Well, yeah, we're working on it. You know, we wouldn't hit all the
A to X.
Yeah, right. There we go.
So, and Z can be their own thing.
I'd like to see another X, you know, sooner than later would be nice.
Well, you know, it came out.
The story of the show.
It came, yeah, that's the starting of all this. But you know, it came out the reason why, even if we were to get another SUV, like, you know, Nissan doesn't own that name. They were leasing, I guess, at some point, or paying royalties to use the Xterra name, and it came out recently. I read a report about that, and they were like, no, that's why the Terra is called Terra in overseas, is because we didn't want to pay royalties on that name any longer. So maybe they're, you know, it'll be a T. How do you do a T? Like, what's exciting about a T, Danny?
We'll just, Dave, I'm just gonna sell X's on eBay.
There you go.
Stick the little badge on it.
No, I think
it's an easy problem to fix.
AutoZone's got you covered for those. I mean, they got every other letter you can go.
Probably.
Dude, I seen, and Spencer might like this. So there was Infinity in front of me the other day, and he tore off all the Infinity, the logo, and everything, and went to AutoZone or somewhere and used those horribly done letters and spelt out Infinity. Like, it was like so long with those letters. It was horrible looking, and I was like, oh, why would you do that? People customize their car. I'm sure, Spencer, you've seen people customize their cars in many strange ways. Oh, first super chat.
Here it comes.
I'm an internally judgmental guy. I'll leave it at that.
Yes.
So I mean, I see a lot. And luckily, I get to see a lot of great things, but sometimes things cross my radar. They're just not my. They're not my.
What
not
is
my style, and that's okay.
What is the one thing that gets customized that you're the most judgy about? You don't have to say what it like. Are you the most judgy about like the rear wing on Z's or the front bumpers on Frontiers, or like what do you think is the one that you're like, the second somebody does something that's outside of the fairly accepted norms, you're like, oh geez, it's always bad.
I'm it's hard to pin that down to one thing, but I guess if anything, I had always been like a function over form guy, but the older I get, form it matters. It matters. So I think out of place spots that don't make sense or like have any whatever you're going for, like if it's not right, like I don't know, you gotta have balance, you gotta have the whole package that makes sense. I feel like for me that's me. That doesn't mean I'm right or wrong, that's just
senseless mods.
Well, and Danny, you know,
like the AutoZone fake vent.
Yes,
it doesn't look good and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, you know, Danny, it's always, you know, for you it's always form over function, right?
What are you getting at, Dave?
I've seen you mod your vehicle like your Xterra. At some point it's just a form and not a function, right?
Well, it's gonna function, Dave.
You know, we've done this show for how long? Over 5 years now, and you gave me like Spencer. I love, and I just love the fact that when I was sassing my Xterra, Danny was like, "That thing, when you going to get that out of the garage? When are you going to do this and that?" And like Danny's well over 4 years now with Team Xterra Racing, or no, I'm sorry, DeGrudex Racing, whatever you call it this week, Dan.
If I would have known, I wouldn't have been on the show tonight. I have better things to do than listen to you.
4 years, you're just like getting the build plan finished up, right? Like
I know, like this isn't some podunk half axle wannabe Jeep that you slap together in your driveway, Dave. This is a professional race truck, all right? You don't just haphazardly slap a couple schlam eBay parts on the thing and drive it to Went one time, all right? This thing is meant to blast through the desert at a speed that you wouldn't even attain if you were on a rocket ship, sir. You understand what I'm saying?
But you know what those people that do half-ass jobs do, Danny? They're out racing.
Oh, they're not.
They're getting experience, buddy.
10 minutes. They do a half-ass job. They'd be racing for about 10 minutes.
Do they get like 61 miles?
Yeah.
Oh man. So Spencer, so give us a little lowdown on the off-road side that you guys are doing now, because I know I've seen your website grow. Like this past couple months, it's really grown with a lot of products. You seem to like, you guys don't just do aftermarket stuff. You're very OEM oriented. I've already seen people trying to buy the new 2020 headlights from you, and like you guys do it all.
Yeah, I mean, the term one-stop shop almost seems like so cliche, but I don't think we'll ever necessarily be a one-stop shop for every single thing, you know, that your vehicle needs. But we want to offer, you know, our clients something very similar to what we do with the motorsport side. And it's taken, you know, it's a 20 years going basically to build a site and support system that can take care of our customers, you know, A to Z, if you wanted to say, or like kind of you know, all the needs for the most part. Yeah, it may not have every single thing out there, but most of the time we're going to have everything that you need to take care of your maintenance, repair, you know, performance upgrades, styling, you know, upgrades, and you know, a host of like kind of the best the aftermarket has to offer, I guess, in accessories. And we mean to try and seek that out and manage it well to our customers for not just parts that are the best product. Yes, we want that, but we also want the things that can fulfill their orders in a really quick order, right? I mean, we want to be able to take care of our customers. So if the best product, you know, for a certain piece on your truck takes 9 months to get, I'm probably not the guy to get involved in that.
Right.
Right. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of our customers and kind of give them that best experience all the way through. And that's what we're working on trying to build. So um, we have a lot of products that we do on our own as well, and we are working on that with Offroad. So as we grow, we're going to see more things come online, for the trucks. So I really enjoy being involved, getting feedback from the community on that, and seeing where those needs are best met.
Right. And that's, of course, you guys, you got the car market. I won't say that you guys are the only people out there, but the car market. Like, you guys, in the 20 years you've done this, every generation has little things that people want to upgrade, or there's common things that break. So you guys got that down real well, and the trucks, but has there been sort of a learning curve now of like going, hey, we're jumping into trucks now? And have you found that truck guys are way different than car guys?
I mean, there are differences, but in the first part of your question, I guess no doubt, we're into something, we're learning all the time. I mean, we still learn every day on the car side of things. We try to be at the bleeding edge on the newest models, the newest tech. So learning is not something that we would shy away from, or I guess look down on. I mean, we kind of embrace that and try to take it on. Yeah, we're learning every day,
right?
And kind of look forward to it. I think that's part of what I love about being in this industry. So yeah, with off-road, I think the name leads off-road. It just sounds like truck and everything, that for off-road only. Obviously, like I said, we want to be full spectrum support. And yeah, we're going to learn a ton while we're there, and I'm enjoying it. I think the thing that when we look at the car segment, we say, well, here's the segment of vehicles, and here's the bandwidth, the spectrum that people are working within, where they're doing products and need support, right? With truck and off-road, we find that, well, the market is a little wider because there's way more trucks on the road.
Right.
And people do a lot more with their trucks than necessarily do with their cars. So we see guys lift the trucks, they lower the trucks, Everybody likes performance in the raw sense of power and stopping and turning and handling and doing whatever sporting piece you want to do with the truck better. And we get that, I would say, like no other. So we are excited, but man, that's a big animal to tackle,
Yeah.
If you were to take it on like that. So, I mean, we're trying to make the most sense of it and make the smartest decisions we can to try and enter the market and support, the customers as best we can.
Well, in the, within the car, like there's general common things with Infinity and Nissan Z and stuff like that. You guys go, okay, we can use, but there's from car to truck, there's nothing common. So like we were talking before the show, you're like, man, we've had to open up new warehousing space just to stock truck parts.
Yeah. I mean, the truck parts are taking pieces of the warehouse, which are valuable to us. Like I said, I mean, time to fulfillment's a big deal for us. The team ships most orders really, really quickly. And as this has picked up over the past few months, with kind of what we see as spring season coming on, it's just natural for us to see a lot of people kind of coming out of their shell. They're getting back to adventures, and they're doing things to take care of their rides.
Right.
And, we're seeing that with truck. So with Motorsports, we're already prepared wholly. We are, deeply ingrained with stock and knowledge on that. And with truck, as we're going, we're growing and finding, but we've run into supply chain issues on Motorsports side. We've run into supply chain issues on the OE side, so we see that with some of the Nissan things, and have been trying to juggle that as best as possible. And it's been interesting to see, but yeah, we're absolutely making a lot of room.
Right. Well, so we have a large truck audience, and I mean we have car guys too, but for our truck guys that may not realize, like, you guys are not just like, you guys are embedded with Nissan slightly, because you've built for the SEMA truck last year. You guys actually built the dually, correct?
Yeah, we did the dually project and the Z project for SEMA, and man, those were really big undertakings.
Right. Well, I got to drive the dually, so I was super pumped with that one. You guys haven't let me in the time attack car, so I don't think I'm ever getting a shot at that one.
Yeah,
they let a racing driver do that work, Dave.
Well, we know that's not you, Danny.
I haven't been able to fly out yet, so it's the only reason why it hasn't been on our show yet.
Oh, okay.
Naturally.
Naturally.
Speaking of racing things, you guys obviously have been doing a lot of tuning on Nissan vehicles for a long time now. You guys have stepped into doing a lot more truck stuff. Obviously, I've got a couple videos of my truck starting to do some tunes on it. Of course, that kind of slowed down when I got rear-ended. But you posted. You guys have you actually did the video of all the different intakes for Frontiers, right? Where you tested all these different intakes. And then more recently too, as well, is you did a tune on a Pro 4X where you got some really great torque numbers out of it. You want to talk a little bit about what you guys have been doing as far as like engine management tuning and performance parts and testing and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. So the intake test was a fun one for us. We were trying to squeeze that in with all the things that are going on with the daily operations. So it was a little little crunch kind of thrown together. But
it looked fun because you're just opening up boxes like Christmas.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed that, and not totally filtering myself maybe on how I view some of those parts. But I was impressed with
I love the video.
and the performance of most of those products was I think really good value. I mean, I definitely have noticed that in the Frontier groups, especially and stuff, it's like a lot of one way or another kind of thought on intakes being worth it or not, and we're determined to seek all this info out, catalog it, and make that information available, so that we're not only your resource for the part, but we're the resource to help you make that best decision if you're not sure, right?
And you guys don't want to sell, you don't, and not a knock on any of the manufacturers you showcase, but you want to give your customers the product that fits their truck the best the first time. You don't want
snake oil.
No, but in none of those products I don't think were.
You want it? No, snake oil works good. You just pour it in, boom, 100 horsepower. I got some for sale.
Right. Yeah, no, that's like a really big deal to us. I mean, I think that's integrity kind of in the industry. Yes. And we've never done that. There was an intake I referenced in there of never installing one before at the show, like in that video, and opening one there. And yeah, that was honest, and we did it. And I still have that one available. If anybody's looking for it, I'll get Danny to autograph it for you, and we can get it to you.
I will.
Dryer, duct, and all. But we do want to help. We want to help the clients get there, with the best products on that. So
right.
And I'll loop back to the other part on tuning, which we're big on uprev. At Z1 Motorsports, we've been doing uprev for years and years. John, our tuner, is extremely qualified and has been. I think he's probably got more tunes under his belt than any other individual.
Well, I know I was trying to interview John, and every time I'd try to interview him when I was down there, it was like, John's got to go do another tune. He'll be right back.
Yeah, he's busy. So, very talented. There's a point in time when I thought, hey, I want to get into doing this. Let's come on board. And then I realized he could just do it, and that was so much better. So I just went with that, and I never looked back. And I've been so happy. The best advice I can give is trust the man and let him work his magic, and he won't let you down. The big thing I'm finding with a lot of the DQ40 stuff is that a few years ago, UpRev launched this advanced race controls feature, the ARC upgrade that we referenced. And I think it changed, some of the things in the software with how they're interpreting timing and related to what used to be like, I hear references burn time versus kind of more conventional timing advance. And I'm not sure all the other magic stuff, aside from it has some neat features, but we just seem to make more power with it. I mean, on the cars and on the trucks, we're seeing it. So, but what we're finding is as I get people, I'm like, hey, send me your VIN and I'll check for support. I'm finding that about half right now are supported with ARC. And that's not an unfamiliar place for us. When ARC launched for the Zs, it wasn't available on all those ROMs either. And when the Zs were new for the 370, we did a lot of downloads on ROM dumps, and basically sharing that information and working close with UpRev to try and get those things done, help with development, make it fast, make it user-friendly for the tuners, and most importantly, make it perform like it should for the end user. So we're heavily involved in that and extremely familiar. And as we come on board and grow more, I mean, we have the one Dynojet, they've added a Mustang dyno. We're just waiting to finish some of this space so that we can add another dyno to our tuning arsenal. So,
well, cool. so
cool.
Get into that a little bit, because
that ARC is
sorry, Dan. We'll get into the tuning a little bit more because I follow all these pages, and instantly somebody gets their first Frontier. You know, it's probably a younger person that doesn't know what it requires to do it, the cost associated with that, and actual what you can get from it. But what for somebody? Because I always see people going, "Oh man, I'm just going to go tune it," and you're like, "Well, yeah, you can go tune a stock vehicle, but do you do anything with it? Like, I don't. What are you really getting a little throttle response maybe? I mean, I know you can bump it up slightly, but not till you actually buy some parts, right?"
No, I mean, there's definitely a lot of gains to be had on a stock like truck with a tune, but depending on what you want to do with it, I think it makes more sense if you're going to do some upgrades. If you have a goal in mind that requires like additional upgrades, um, a lot of people will do those first and then do the tune, so that if they're getting it custom adjusted, it gets dialed in specifically for those upgrades. So that's usually the path we're leading people down is, hey, you want to do this stuff, we're going to help get you there, but let's understand what you want, and then we'll make it efficient. That way we're not selling you parts, this thing, and then it's not going to work with this other thing, and then they're going backtrack and spending money again. I mean, that may seem like it's great for the guy selling you parts, but in the end, you're probably going to get tired of it and go somewhere else. So, we want to take care of you and make sure it's efficient. But I'd say absolutely worth doing parts. In my opinion, the intakes on that test, like, totally made sense, worthwhile. And that wasn't even testing against a really stock truck. That truck had a drop-in K&N in it. But we're going to do an exhaust shootout too on Frontier, and we'll keep pushing the limit on ROM support for those, for all these Xteros and Frontiers and Pathfinders. We're going to try and grow it. There's a lot of EQ40 guys out there, and I have an older 06 Frontier that I had before my 07, and it had a flash on it, and it had an extra, like, I don't know, 100,000 miles, 150,000 miles than my current truck has. And that thing will smoke my 07.
Really?
Right? It would get
Really
destroyed, and it's just flash. That's it. And driving my truck now, the 4-wheel drive truck that I'm working on, it just next week, and that's it. I'm telling you, next week, John's gonna. I've been seeing these ARC numbers, these torque gains they're making. It's not a joke, man. And this stuff's legit. So,
well, I mean, you that video you just posted. I mean, and it's crazy too, because it just had to be where my truck. I have the tune to put in my truck, right? And I get rear-ended, and I can't put it. And then you post a picture of a bright red Pro 4X with a nice arc tune, and it's like, oh, we got 45 more pounds of torque out of this thing. It just had a little intake, and I'm like, jeez, like, dang, man.
That's tough to like rationalize not doing it, because
I mean that's good numbers. It's just for torque
per dollar, or torque per dollar. You're not going to find it.
Yeah,
I don't think yet. So.
Well, what
and really, I mean, torque for our trucks is a huge thing. We already have the market cornered on torque. I mean, the VQ40 is a really nice engine when it comes to torque. And when you are upgrading your truck and you're putting 35s on, or if you're putting 33s on and loading it up with a bunch of steel bumpers and whatnot, that torque is a huge factor when you're trying to climb up a hill. And it's something I've preached forever. That's why I have aluminum everything. But that weight it needs to be pushed by something. And if you just have a couple extra horsepower, you're not gonna feel that. Those torque numbers make a huge difference in our segment. Over something like a super lightweight Z. Where you want a lot of revvy horsepower kind of pep and whatnot. That's where you really want it anyways.
I want all of it.
That's all true. Of it. I mean, you can't go wrong with HPs as well.
Yeah. But no, I'm with you guys. And the nice thing too, like, I guess with UpRev, that a lot of people miss or they don't catch, because I know there are other things out there. I still can't believe that we see like the stupid chip type, like eBay.
Every once in a while, you see that one guy. He's like, "Can I buy this chip?" You're like,
guy like just got a Frontier and Xterra, like wanders into the group. He's maybe a little lost. He asks about this, immediately murdered. It's rough, but what else is out there? You got like, I see Bully Dog and stuff, but we've never seen really good like performance gains off a Bully Dog on other BQ platforms. In my experience.
No, and Bully Dog is super.
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 92 tune. Yeah, I think I had it on my Xterra way back. I didn't notice I mean, I barely had the truck for very long before it crashed, but I didn't notice a big bump in it at all.
Yeah,
Well,
but I mean,
I noticed a big bump, but then it was totaled.
yeah, no, it's I think well worth to stay with it. And the nice thing, I know in other markets there are a lot of softwares and tunes. It's like you can tune it, and then if you want to tune it more, you better get that wallet back out
Yeah.
because we need some money for points, credits. We're gonna get in there and get that from you. But UpRev's not like that at all. You once you have it, it's yours. You can just have it done as many times as you want. You just, I guess, pay tune labor or something, but
Yeah.
if you're making big changes, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That you can do.
Well,
with
that
one.
I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, you literally can tune from your garage. You just, as long as you got a PC, Windows based PC, like, you're good to go, right?
And the internet's, man.
Yeah, and the internet's right. You can download the software even before you like get your cable and everything in if you want to navigate it and like kind of familiarize yourself a bit. I think that's a pretty nice feature that it's out there. The license is like on the cable, so when you get your cable, that's where you get to really unleash the fury.
And let's just say this too, is because I've off-roaded and hung out with a bunch of Toyota guys. Unfortunately, I have to because there's just not enough Nissan guys around me. So I've subjected myself to Toyota people. But Toyota, you cannot tune Toyota Tacomas. There's nobody. There's like one dude doing it.
Really?
Do you guys realize that?
That's
nobody tunes Tacomas. It's like locked down. Like, you get what you get, and especially with the recent slightly better gas mileage, less horsepower Tacoma, you'd think they'd be like, all right, let me just get the power back. I'll lose the gas mileage. But yeah, I thought like Tacomas would get everything, but they don't. There's no tune. Like the guy that I race with, Todd from AMR Racing, he's got the blue race truck Tacoma. He's running a stock tune on his I think it's a 3-liter or whatever.
3.5. No, 4. It's a 4-liter net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4-liter. But he's running a stock tune. He has no option. I actually was like, no way. He's like, yeah, dude, I'm just running a stock tune in this thing. It's like, he's like, nope, no support. Nobody can crack the crazy Toyota code or something, I guess. But anyway, so there's that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that rambling was brought to you by Z1 Offroad. If you need rambling, you go to Z1 now. No, but I do get that, Danny. And I think that's one thing that us Nissan guys maybe don't realize we have a diamond in the rough because of companies like Z1 who work with the Z platform a lot. Like, you guys know Nissan in and out, and you're able to crack those codes when you need to, and it now translates to the trucks.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's with the Z stuff. We've done so many that it's kind of easy to get it even at a base level. I think John can put a package together for a car, and it's you get this intake, this exhaust, this is the fuel octane you're on, this is your file, and that's not to say that we can't get it on the dyno and make it better.
Right.
But man, packaged, catered tune to your needs is right there. I mean, and we want to build that catalog for all this VQ40 stuff,
right?
Too,
and
so.
do you find though that, like, obviously, shipping a tune to somebody's house, like, yeah, you can get it, but do you find even if you had two of the same vehicles, car or truck, and like the cars are still individuals, do you find that, like, yeah, I can put the exact same Z tune into this car, the exact same exhaust and everything, and you still need to tweak it a little bit? Is that right?
Sure. I mean, I think there's always going to be some variance to optimize to that, 9th, 10th degree. But when, usually if you were doing ones of packaging, you're going to err a little bit more cautious. You pull back a little bit, for those things. And yeah, if they're different, when we do UpRev standard packages, we offer catered tuning. So it doesn't mean it's only a one and done. That's just an option.
Right.
If you want Z1 custom work, then that's always available. And standard packages come with one additional. So basically, what you would get and do, how Danny started was, you get the cable and software from us, you download, you connect to your car or your truck, you get your ECU part number, you download that base map, load it on there, then you go and make your pull and log your key data.
Right.
and you send that log file back to us, and we will custom cater that to you and send it back. So that's like that's the standard level.
Right.
Like, so, and if you needed,
And then and then you send Spencer a text and say, "I need all the juice, Spencer. Send me all the juice. I don't care if it blows up. Send me the juice." And he says, "Whoa, buddy, take it easy."
It's taking a while to get Mark on that one, but I'm glad they got it. A little ahead of the incident would have been nice, but
Yeah.
not two projects.
Well,
Yeah.
when I went down to your shop, like I've been in many aftermarket companies places, and they're usually just, especially for Nissan, it's a smaller business. And so when I had obviously I knew who Z1 was, but I had no idea the scale that you guys operate at. So when you were kind of giving me a tour of the company, man, and I've referenced this many times and I stick by it, like you guys are a mini Amazon warehouse for Nissan parts. Like it was ridiculous how that, like, you guys scan just like Amazon would, like you're scanning parts, it goes right to shipping, they box it. And I was watching all this happen, and then I see an assembly line of they were building, I forget what they were building that day, but like you guys, if you're in the, for one, Georgia area, I don't know why you're not at least visiting the showroom, because you guys got all the cool toys in the showroom. But like you guys really are the place to go for Nissan stuff. Like you were showing us the 3D printer where you guys are constantly developing new parts, and it's not like something simple where you'd go send some guy a little weld thing and you make a bracket and you're selling it for $100. Like you guys are doing advanced builds.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The team that they have on the engineering side is getting to be a pretty stacked deck. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very impressed with those guys, and am excited to see where I feel like they're really just starting to get to hit the levels we want to see them hit, like with support from like the company side. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just that's growth, right? I mean, we're big for the Nissan segment, and we want to grow and scale better to take care of everybody, but watching that. I remember when we got our first printer and it was little,
Right.
So when you saw that,
Yeah.
a lot bigger. And they have a lot more in the works. There are a lot of things that are going to help.
Well, you were telling me when we were down there, like you guys are, you're bolting up 3D printed stuff, and like instantly what's going to work, what doesn't work. It's not like like I said, it's not like you're just making some tiny little part. Oh, cool, this button works on the car now. Like you guys, I think it was an exhaust or something you guys were working on when I was down there, and I was amazed. Danny, it was a whole 3D printed exhaust that they had that they were.
I remember you were telling me about some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically for us. It helps cut cost on the engineering side, so we don't have to pack all that in.
Yeah.
So to try and cover that piece of the cost of the business, we get to improve our efficiency. We have strong data points to manage and run the QC. But also, instead of building a part, I may not build 100% of my products there. You saw us kitting and doing kit work there. But if it's like an exhaust system, like I'm going to go to somebody that does just that. They're really good at it, and we'll get it made, in batch quantity so that we can have it on the shelf ready to go. It meets tolerance really well because somebody just focuses on building just this exhaust, and they do the whole run, right? And they check all of the run in QC. But we get to do that without having to, make a mock-up and then send it and then wait on, a tooling fixture to be made and all these other things first, just to get back a first round sample and say, oh man, we screwed that up.
Yeah. Which happens. I mean, I've been a part of those.
So having things like the printer or other machine resources and local things we call on, to machine parts it makes it a lot quicker. And then if there's an adjustment that needs to be made, or something is found as a problem, I mean, you want to do a product on a vehicle, but then you got to check it on every year, right? I mean, they've been building Frontiers for 15 years, right? Like maybe we'll find that the 2011 and made between this month and this month's got some quirky thing,
right?
One day this other product doesn't like it, so we got to put a relief here that everybody will be like, why is that there? Well, it's for this one incident. Who knows? I mean, That's the we discover. Yeah. And thank God for the equipment. It's changed the world, make stuff go quicker. So
right. So with with Nissan about to launch a bunch of new vehicles, and you guys kind of now you're all over the map, man. Because I know you guys done Sentras. Obviously, I'm gonna take my juke to you guys. You guys will touch pretty much anything if you can make a part for it or sell a part for it. You want to do it. What I know, Z community is going nuts over the potential what they call the 400Z. I'm still not sold on that's what it's going to be called. But then on top of that, for you guys, you're positioned great because here comes Frontier too, and I'm sure you've seen our sneaky little picture that we released of a potential Nismo Frontier. Like,
oh yeah,
like the sky's the limit for you guys on both car and truck side right now.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's no doubt. It's how much can we cover, right? I mean,
Right.
trying to. We have to be smart with decisions we make, what we commit to make sure we're going to get those things done and to people and bring them the best thing we can. So I'm hyped. I'm excited. I would love to see, and I hate to bring the Ford thing into it, but I think the standard right now, the Raptor, baby Raptor, like I would love to see that. So
right.
If we could get like a very sporting Frontier, I mean. I would love to see something at the very top, at the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Nismo Pro 4X. I mean, let's see some boost. Let's see some really great suspension. I mean, I would love to see, front, maybe, rear locker for sure, maybe a front locker. Competition out there has got some pretty killer equipment. Factory.
I think Chevy set the bar for trucks with the ZR2 package. I mean, like if you're not, I mean, even Ford's selling Ranger now, but it's not like they could if they had actually done a Raptor.
But they're putting that stuff in the Bronco now too. That everything says that the new Bronco is going to start having that stuff too. So I mean, if you want to get up in that market and sell some of your higher priced, better top of the line stuff, you're going to need to do some of that stuff.
Right. So the Z. We'll talk a little bit about each vehicle. So the Z. Obviously, you guys are not privy to anything that anybody else isn't right now, especially Z because that's in Japan. Japan doesn't talk. Like it's hard to get, like it's hard for me to talk to any employees at Nissan America. Like Japan, unless you're flying over and built, like they're tight-lipped about these things, and that's their, I know the GTR is their big halo car, but I really think the Z is really their heritage car that they they have a lot invested in that car, man. What is your potential? What do you see kind of the Z gonna be?
Man, that's a tough one. I mean, I think I've heard everything rumor mill like you guys have. Yeah. We've heard NA, we've heard hybrid, we've heard the twin turbo, it's going to be the 3.0. I've heard other stuff, I mean, like, hey, questions around this 3.8 architecture, are things that we see in this engine going to be similar over here? Mm-hmm. The 3.7, when they put the 3.7 in the 370 and they did a synchro rev match and all that stuff, I mean, honestly, I don't think maybe I'm probably too hardcore to matter like the masses, but I don't think they did a good enough job showcasing those features and how awesome that stuff was to make like as a driver's car. Because a Z is really I feel like a driver's car. That is not a drag race machine. It's not just whatever. I mean, it does a lot of things really well, and I would love to see it. I mean, at first, years ago when they started talking about hybrid technology, I thought, no, I don't want heavy Z. I don't want to see it. Yeah. I want to see a lightweight offering in a Z, something really sporting, lighter than even before.
Right.
Cars keep getting bigger and safer, which is great.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I do care about that kind of, but there's just something about throwing a lightweight old car around, and put them side by side. They scale a lot different. It'd be nice to see it not be too bloated. It'd be nice to see it with a twin turbo.
Well, and because many people thought that the 350, 370 was a bloated car versus the previous generations.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, 300.
Well, even the 300 is.
Well, it's pretty stout, man. I mean, but I will say that it's extremely safe. I've seen a handful of them turned around in the trailer after a build, and they've been folded in half, and the story that comes along with it is just kind of amazing when you learn that people walked away safe.
Yeah,
or maybe there were 3 people in the vehicle. Who knows? It was only a 2-seater, but I've seen that stuff, and it's wild. But they are bigger, and it would be nice. It'd be nice to see something sporty again. So I don't know. I mean, I really the big thing for me,
roots, right? Yeah,
manual transmission or at a minimum like a dual clutch, not an automatic. For the love of God, I hope
dual clutch would be really cool.
Deep down, I am a little worried because I think They did this internal hydraulic release bearing like they had on the late model 350Zs. They did on the 370s and G37s. Those vehicles just make a lot more heat, and we see failure rates on those are just insane. So their warranty claims on manual trans cars, when they look back at their record, whoever is over there pitching the counting beans is going to be a real good case for saying like manual gave you all this trouble. It gave you all this trouble, and we just run one thing on our line. So if they do that, we just say a prayer that is going to be a dual clutch or a manual.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, the auto's pretty good. They've come a long way, but they're still autos. So.
Well, as long as we don't see a CVT in it, I think we're on agreement on that one.
I think you're sure.
But I think, like you were saying, the Z is a driver's car. It's a sports car in name, but like you said, it's not out there putting out 500 horsepower. It's not trying to keep up with a Mustang or any of that crowd. It's more of a, especially for this current Z, I think is more of a people my age. I'm kind of the last generation that was probably, as a kid, remember the Z being like a super affordable car. So they want to keep it somewhat affordable, but like you start getting into dual clutch and all that stuff, and the price is just going to go up, right?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm sure it can or will, but they learn how to make all of these things, effectively and efficiently in mass production, right? Auto manufacturers, if they want it to be, competitive.
Spencer, I remember when BMW came out with their M3 with the dual clutch. I was working on them when it came out, and that was a long time ago. That was like 8 years ago.
Danny's talking about being in the BMW guy.
But I mean, yeah, the double clutch has been out for a long time now, and so that technology is out. The manufacturing for them. I mean, now you're seeing them on a lot of different sports applications and even aftermarket stuff. So I mean, back in the day when that was like the nerds were like, look what we can do. Of course, it was only in premium, but the trickle down is definitely here at this point.
Yeah, I would think that it would be something that could be made even at a premium. It would be nice to see. So I'm just hoping that there is a manual, quickly responsive gearbox that can take extended abuse and not have to be, a one lap wonder or something. And the other thing too, that I think the next Z, if they're going to go into the segment, is you're not in a market by yourself, right? You can't ignore the fact that you have competitors in the market. So
you mean BMW?
Well, I mean, hey, that's not anything to
I mean,
ignore.
Supra. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's not anything to ignore, and I think you got to be able to be competitive with those cars, not just stock, but upgraded.
Right.
And years ago, the Supra in the 90s, right, was very good about its just bolt-on performance upgrades. So right out of the gate, the things are quick that the aftermarket can support, the things that people can attain, and I mean the lion's share of owners are bolt-on performance upgrades and maxing out like what that stock engine can do. And the Supra came with bigger injectors. It had obviously a super strong engine, and people were upgrading it. And they made these things fast. And it wasn't until years later that the rest of the world realized it's like how amazing this is. That you could hit these crazy numbers without cracking an engine open.
But I think that car though was priced way. The last generation Supra was so priced out of everybody's. I think that was part of that problem though.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think seeing some sliver of that, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at for support beyond the scope of just your regular warranted customer. These are enthusiast market cars. These people are brand ambassadors for you. They are out on the road in your car, trying to connect with people on an emotional level, especially if they're doing a retro type vehicle. I mean, there's no ignoring that sports cars are, they're a trigger for passion with people. And that becomes almost, I don't want to say like Z is Halo, right? But I mean, that same effect for your brand happens there. And I think that it's important to grab enough share of that market and get enough on the road, to make the business case sense and not bleed your company to death with a vehicle. But, it needs to be competitive. They just had GTA at Road Atlanta this past weekend. And Jackie Ding ran a Supra there, which is somewhat upgraded, but man, he ripped off a staggering time in a car that's still really early, as far as how much can be done to it. So, I'm hoping that we can see equivalent opportunities in the new hardware. I guess it's like my hope, right?
Yeah.
Like, man, I hope new technology is just as good on the Nissan front that we can
Would
see.
do you sense? Okay, so we all know that there's a new Z coming. I mean, like Nissan did their A to Z. Like they showcased the Z like crazy. They, in my eyes, they probably should have showcased the Frontier a little more in that video than they did the Z. But because they sell a lot more, but they sell a lot more of that vehicle, and there's been such hype for that vehicle for so long. But do you think that Nissan's not known for offering different motor packages? And do you think now that the Supra is going to have, it's going to have what the 6-cylinder and a 4-cylinder? Do you think that Nissan goes, well, maybe we need to make the base Z a little 4-cylinder, a little turbo 4 of some sort, because the car looks a lot lighter than, and just visually from what they've showed us, it looks like it's going to be a little bit smaller vehicle and could handle a 4-cylinder.
I mean, me personally, I would love to see that. I like light cars and probably could make enough power with even one of those for what I would need to scare myself well out on the road.
Right. I don't know. I've rode with you.
But I don't think that they are going to. I don't know. It would surprise me if they would give that much flexibility and have additional things they got to manage on the line.
Right.
I would be surprised. Now, they've tried to do some of that, and I mean, look at what they did with Frontier. They said bye,
Yeah.
and they cut their options of vehicles they got to carry on their sheet way down.
Right.
And they just do reps and get real good at doing the reps. And I understand that. I mean, I respect it, but I would love to see it. I would.
Right.
I just don't know. I don't know.
Well,
and they had that 4-cylinder turbo available in the Qs. It's a Mercedes engine.
Mm-hmm.
And that relationship went away. And if they don't have an engine on deck already to kind of suit that,
right,
or if they're not already, if they don't already have that developed, I wouldn't.
Well, yeah, because they're not in a position right now. They're just not in that position to want to spend money right now. I mean, we all know their current situation, and they're not going bankrupt. I hate seeing this stupid. Oh, they're going bankrupt, guys. They have a stockpile of money. They've been making money for years. It wasn't like GM and Ram back then where they were out of money and all their creditors were hitting them up. They actually have money still, but they don't have money to go throw millions and millions of dollars at engine development right now. Like the 3.8, that was a big step for them because I was told it was going to be a 3.5 by somebody at the plant that it was, hey, 3.5 because it made sense at the time. Toyota went to a 3.5. They seem to be following suit of whatever Toyota does. They kind of keep in line with that. But the 3.8, I mean, it's still a VQ series engine, but there's quite a bit different with that. And so with the 2020 trucks supposedly coming out, like you guys, you're just tipping your toes into the trucks. Not that y'all haven't done it for years, but you're really just getting into it majorly. Now they throw a new engine at you with the new Frontier, man. And it's already making good power that you guys, I know, are going to just, mouth has to be watering to let me get that motor and let me really open it up.
I was just thinking about that today. I wish I could get my hands on a, powertrain package and just go to work on it because we do pretty well with that. We're definitely not worried, but excited about what it can do. I mean, direct injection and the dual cam phasing stuff. That's exciting for us. I like seeing cylinder head changes. It makes me wonder when I see that single 4-bolt flange for the cat on the head. That's how the Q60s are, and they got a turbo bolted right there, man.
Well, I've said it.
Yeah.
I've said it, Danny, that if they do a Nismo, it has to be turboed. Like Ford's owned this game now for 10 years or more. They better get their butts in that game a little bit.
Well, and I read a little I don't know what you would call an expose, a little copy that that one of you wrote at Z1, maybe it was you, I don't know, but about some of the similarities that the new engine looked like it had to some of the Infinity stuff and the VR. Do you want to elaborate on that? You have you kind of alluded to that right now.
Yeah.
But, what's your experience about what you've seen?
Yeah, Matt really took the reins on it. We were looking through some of the parts information, and
Mhm.
had been trying to claw at getting information, and everybody's staying tight over there. They want to roll out media on their schedule. But
Ooh, thank you, Kelly.
they've got somebody to report to, so I understand. But we were just combing through all this engine data and looking at exploded diagrams, looking at parts, and we're familiar with all these other things because we've taken them all apart and how we have tons of engines on hand that are from all the newest things. I even have a bunch of MRs in the basement. If you want one, Dave, I'll let you have a spare. And
nice.
There was a point in time when I wanted to swap it in the Z.
Yeah.
For weight. Yeah. Anyways, but we tried to look at all those details and then just be objective about, okay, well, what is the reasoning on this part of this part? What's the benefit we think, or the weakness over something here? So the cam phasing, obviously winner. You're gonna have variable cam phasing on each cam. You get a lot more control, and you can get cams that behave like big, more aggressive cams, or they're mild in behaving and good low end torque and fuel economy and all that.
Can you real quick? Can you explain cam phasing as far as like having more or less lift? Just kind of give it the idiot's version.
Sure.
For cam phasing,
we talk about cams. We talk about two things. One, you hear lift, which is the amount of actual lift a valve sees from its resting place, right? And then we have phasing, or what cam advance, VTEC, VVEL, whatever all the other people call it, and that is more for yes. That's more about the moment or timing of the events. So timing of the events in relation to, generally top dead center, position of the engine, where pistons are, when a valve is going to start to crack open and close, and when that can happen on the intake, it can happen on the exhaust. And then there's a magical relationship called overlap that happens on the exhaust stroke, where you can have a lot of pumping losses worked or scavenging efficiencies worked. And as you change things on the car specifically, you can start to really see a lot of benefit in fine tuning that. Heck, from the keyboard, John's working the magic, and he's just sitting there making pull after pull after pull, figuring out what things are working for us on what packages. So that's a huge benefit in having that. Now, we don't have variable lift on the 3.8, but we do get variable phasing. And on the VQ40, you have it on the intake. You have like the really oldest version of it. But it looks like on the 3.8, I think I'm right with this. And Matt, if you're following along or chatting, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think we were seeing a similar, oil pressure driven, maybe on both, like we see kind of on our hybrid, or I don't remember if it was that, or if it's like what we see on the VR30. So straighten me out there if I'm wrong in the comments, Matt, and I'll own it. But
it's all right. Nobody knows for sure anything, so at this point you could just kind of ramble and nobody can correct you because you're on the cutting edge of knowing things.
It's all magic. They got sprinkles inside there, coated all the stuff.
Yeah, we looked up the sprinkle valve. It shoots sprinkles on the back of the valves, right?
That's why our tuner is he's like the master for it. So it's all about the sprinkle. But it's it's very good. We'll see. You're going to see a lot of benefit of control on the 3.7 in the Z's. They have variable lift and event phasing on the intake. It doesn't even look like camshaft on a Z.
Well,
it's crazy.
So the first thing that I've seen people love to beat up Nissan, and they even own Nissan people. We're a lot like libertarians, man. Like, you're going to beat up yourself. Like, you can't even decide what you want to be politically. But so the first thing Nissan guys were already fussing about was direct injection. Where are you guys at on it? Because I hear so much about, it's just going to clog up everything. It's going to be bad. The engines are going to blow.
I have an opinion, but I'll wait.
I want to know Spencer's opinion on direct injections in this motor.
I'm pro direct injection, and the question becomes what the range of it will be. So in the long term, once we start, especially if boost starts to be a thing, once you start to run out of direct injector, the current aftermarket for that is not the strongest, because this is really new stuff, and people that are making quality parts for that, it's not a guy in a small shop. These are people that are trying to work with Bosch, and names of the like. So things slow down as they make sure they get it right. Because if you screw it up on direct injectors, you see some fail. We see warranty claims on the 3.0s, hey, you have one get hung up because of trash in it or something, and a motor's hydraulic like that. So
Yeah, the tolerances of direct inject are so freaking out there, like within just minuscule. It's not like a regular oil injector. Like it's like a 60, or it's like no, this is a 0.04572986 instead of 7. Like, all right, man,
Right.
take it easy.
Right, you can run a bit more advanced. You can run a lot of boost on them on pump gas because they cool the combustion chamber so much with how you deliver the fuel. Yeah, so I mean, for us, that's why I'm pro, is because like I want to be able to say, hey, if it's not turbo, then get your turbo kit at Z1 and turn it up a bit, or at least to this right here, safe, just under this limit that we found out the hard way. That's the tough part of
every good performance shop should have found the hard way.
Hey man, if every performance shop found it the hard way, there would be a lot less of them, and maybe that's good or bad. I don't know.
But
you gotta push it till it blows.
But so you don't see an issue. You're not seeing issues with direct injection like all the fanboys are instantly crying about.
They worried about 60,000 miles having like PCV buildup on the back of a valve. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think that if that's your worry for all the performance you get, then stop being so lazy. Clean it.
Yeah, you get such a better burn.
Yeah,
it's such a more efficient way to do things. And again, get out your drinks, because in 2006, I don't know what it was, the BMW, so their 3-liter, they started, I think it was 3, I don't even remember anymore, but they started direct inject. And don't get me wrong, when they first came out with them, I replaced so many injectors and I replaced so many high pressure pumps right off the bat, and eventually they started getting better at it, and they probably bitched at these people, and they set all their German engineers to figure it out. And that's what German engineers do. They throw a bunch of parts in a car that it's supposed to work correctly, and eventually they figure out how to make them work a long time.
Yeah,
but again, it's been around for a long time. I mean, diesel engines, it's not like it's their first time with a direct inject system,
True, but hopefully,
I mean, old diesel, a little different, but still.
So hopefully gas engine will stick around a while, and so we're confident in that.
So have you guys been able to get your hands on any Gen 2 Titans yet?
So we have added a Gen 2 Titan to the fleet in 2020, and it should hopefully be. It was adventuring, I think. A little vacation thing this weekend. Yeah. Hopefully we'll see this week. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
We'll be looking.
I want to see 500 horsepower. I want to see 500 horsepower, and I will settle for 0 less. If it's 498, I will be pissed. There's no reason why why your Titan shouldn't have 500 horsepower. That's all I'm saying.
I like it at the wheels, right? I mean, it's the only way we really talk about these things.
Yeah. You don't worry about those losses.
We'll find out where. Power, of course. I don't know if anybody's done that 9-speed new VK on the dyno yet, but we'll find that out for you.
Nice.
So follow along for that.
Well, have you got to drive it yet?
No. So I'm actually really looking forward to that, because I've been chomping the bit. We had so much going on 2020 Titans. The headlights. You've mentioned the headlights before. Like, man, I have a lot of people that are interested in the headlight thing, and we have the lights available, but we've tried to be real transparent. They're like, we don't have this figured out yet. We will figure it out, but it's just taken a lot longer than we expected, because access to a 2020 has been difficult.
I think
they came out with Corona.
Yeah, I think access to 2020 in general has been real hard to get through too.
They started shipping them with built-in face masks.
Well, that's
but I'd be excited to see it and what it does compared to the other, fresh VKs we've tuned. Because I think we've gotten one in A just with some bolt-ons and tuning to like 398 wheel.
Yeah.
I think it was 16 or something that we tuned a while back, and I was pretty impressed with that. It was pretty decent. Fuel and range on MAFs are stuff I think Harrop's still trying and get pinned down. Work with them some on the supercharger kit. I'd like to see that come further. And I agree. I don't know if we should stop at 500. I feel like a factory VK engine should be worth much more than that, and I would like to know where the threshold is to have people run around out and just get a kit right there, just right.
Yeah. So Spencer, Kelly here was talking about, she's watched some videos off YouTube, and they shift smoother. Like, me and Danny can attest to this. Like, and you haven't got to drive it yet. The 9-speed is like, I didn't have a problem with that 7-speed, but the 9-speed is like, I know people that hate Nissan and have drove it and been like, this should be in every truck. This 9-speed transmission is so good.
Yeah, the 7-speed was it was tuned pretty rough. I only driven it in some diesels and then a couple of gassers at the shop.
Yeah.
And the gassers I thought were better, but the diesel I drove, I thought, man, God, they have this thing tuned.
Was it? Do you know if Dave? Yeah. Dave? Do you know if the So it was the. It wasn't the. Was it the IASN? No.
ASIN? Yeah, that's what the new one.
There was a different. Yeah.
Jacko made it.
Is that's not who the 9-speed is?
No, it's Jacko. It's Jacko 9-speed.
Yeah, it's Jacko. So
I thought it was ASIN or ISIN or whatever. AI.
That's what the
XD gets that.
The diesel, the XD diesel. Well, I don't know if the VK got it, but I know the diesel for sure got the ISIN trans, and they had tons of problems with programming. I think it was the 1 to 2, and they just, I don't know if they ever got it right. I think there's a lot of people bringing it in to get it retuned and shift points and stuff like that. And maybe it was all these different drive gears that they had in there that they just didn't have the right numbers. But I will say that I got all nerdy when I went to the Titan Adventures, and I found out like it technically it has like 3 overdrives. That's how it goes, because it's like once you get up to 6, 7, 8, and 9 are actually overdrive gears. So for those of you that then it's not 1-to-1, it's less than 1-to-1 for anybody listening. So I don't know, transmission stuff's weird. It's like wild witches throwing a bunch of sandpaper at each other and seeing who's gonna be a better carpenter.
A better carpenter.
Speaking of carpentry, if you haven't gone over to my most recent YouTube video and watched my daughter make fun of me.
I agree.
Oh, that's good, man. I had a good time making that YouTube video.
Let's get to some questions here. So Joe Taylor asked Spencer, basically, what qualifications did it require for you to do your job?
Oh, man.
What is your background?
How did Spencer become Spencer, bud?
Spencer for hire.
Spencer was always a car enthusiast from my youngest days, but I have a degree in automotive technology, so I went to school to work on cars and diagnose cars and do all those things. And then I did that for a while. I was a master technician, and I ran a shop. And then the recession hit way back, and
hey,
good
me
friends.
And
you should check out these guys at Z1. Things are good over here, and and I think you'd like it. So I went and had a chat with those guys and fell in love, and just keep falling in love every day. So I mean, that's basically it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've done a lot of crazy builds with budgets I personally would never have been able to do. I've been able to help people, I think, achieve their goals, whether it was something that I was doing or helping to guide them to in the right way. And that's really rewarding for me, I'll say. But I don't know if that qualifies me for anything. But yeah, I don't know. Been doing it for a long time now.
Let's see. Fellow Georgian here says, Damian Randall, that he needs to drive over before Went this year to get his Frontier tuned, and he asked in a later question, what is a tuning package cost including dyno?
Yeah, so typical charges for a dyno, I want to say with tax all in, it's about $775-ish, something in there. And that would be $300 software license plus tax, and then time on dyno, which is. And then if it's ARC, it's about $100 extra. If you have ARC, $100 extra, and that's for like one fuel tuning. Basically, we're not having to purge your tank of all the gas and then put E85 in it and tune it on that or anything that would be additional, or race gas or nitrous, whatever. But that's where it starts. Unless you're making over 600 horsepower, we have a rule of thumb: 600 horsepower and above, we actually charge $1 for every extra horsepower because we spend a lot of extra time there. We felt like we
Well,
needed.
yeah.
You
Once you
were
get up there, every horsepower is a little bit of work, right? Like it's a lot more work to get like 1 horsepower once you start really pushing it and getting into that crazy area.
Yeah, I mean, NA tunes, and I don't act like they get the attention, that they're needed for these things. But yeah, when you start pushing the limit, you slow that rate of approach down on a boosted car.
Yeah. You don't just start throwing all kinds of timing at it, and you're like, let's run her a little lean. Hey,
yeah,
I can understand that.
Yeah, so, but that's kind of where it starts, and tuning starts. Just the software pack. You want just a flash that starts at like 300 plus tax. So the cool thing is,
I have a question. So if I give you whatever the base price is, and then plus $1 per horsepower. If I give you like $3,000, you can give me like 3,000 horsepower. Is that how that works?
Yeah, just like that. I wish.
Sweet.
I'll say.
I'll be done with my truck in a second.
We're seeing these tunes or these art upgrades that we're seeing all these torque numbers off of the VQ40s, and I'm sitting back like, oh my god, this is insane! Like it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could get you to keep doing that for the same amount, I would just endlessly. You couldn't stop taking money from me because it would just be,
for sure.
So I don't know. I wish it was like that.
I'm just waiting for you guys to put a turbo on the VQ. Something that pulls quick.
Well, where do you stand on that?
Something
for that VQ? Are you a turbo guy, a supercharger guy? Where do you think it needs to be?
I'm an applications guy. I guess I'd say so. If the application called for supercharger, then I would lean towards
if the credit card clears.
We can put both on there. We'll find a way.
It's happened before.
There's some environments where we found that superchargers work really well, and depending on the kit. I'll speak on Z stuff for a minute. We've done a lot of Vortec kits, and we've done HKS kits, and we've done old Stillen kits, and we've had Power Down or Paxton or something, kits come through, and on those, and we've done tons of turbo kits. APS back in the day, Z1 was like the national dealer, bringing in tons of stuff. They used to have offices like just stacked full of giant, kit boxes and stuff, and those are really nice. And I like parallel twin turbo stuff on a Z. I love all that. I don't know how I would like it on a truck. I don't know.
Me neither. That's why I want you to do it.
I think if it's a street truck, turbo probably the cool thing. If it's
I agree.
I think supercharger may be killer, and it's easy for most people. If you're gonna just like build it on a stock engine and just go within that threshold, I think supercharger is just kind of easy. So I'm hoping my guys will like that supercharger kit I got on a request list.
There you go. Approve.
So let's get to work.
So somebody had asked when the 2021 Frontier comes out, will Z1 be purchasing one?
Man, if they have that Nismo Pro 4X option and it comes with boost, I hope Z1 will purchase one. But if they don't, I will probably do it.
Yeah, and that's my goal, is to head on down to Regal Nissan in your area.
You and Dave are going to be fighting for one.
So if you get it before me, and you bring it on over.
Oh no, I've said it many times.
There we go. I like how this relationship's going.
I've said it many times. The plan is, if I can get one, like if I have to fly west, there's a few aftermarket companies I got to stop by, and if I have to be in the East Coast, there's Z1 and a couple places there that make things that they're going to want to at least examine the vehicle, and the truck will come there. So,
I'm excited about it. I'm hopeful. But yeah, if you get that thing, you better call me. Come on out. We'll
call you. I'll be at your house. You'll be like, how'd you find me? It's the Nissan Nation Productions, man. We find whatever we need. Let's see. So Danny, couple little news tidbits to go over. And Spencer might as well be a part of this. We'll wind us down in just a minute. Nissan declared they were going to actually build a 2021 XD. I'd reported a while back that the XD was probably dead because of the NV van it's built on being dead. But I'm assuming the only thing that saved it for 2021 was COVID, actually. The one thing COVID actually saved, and I have a feeling it saved the XD for another year.
Yeah, I think they're going to try not to make a big change there. They'll probably stagger down the NV. They'll get rid of the NV, and if the XD is just a total whale that's not selling, I think they'll just kind of cut bait on it eventually. But they did their R&D. Maybe they're trying to make some money back on it, and so we'll see. Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
Well, I think honestly, you have a ton of parts, and they have a lot of commitment to buy parts from their subs that they just have to honor these. Nissan's not in a position to get into lawsuits of not honoring some commitments they have. So I think it's just better to sell those 150 trucks a month, and just I think by next they'll say they make it for production turnovers in August. So I think by February you don't ever hear about the XD again. Spencer, was the XD on y'all's vision board at all
for development?
Yeah,
I'm not saying I wouldn't ignore anything that's out there, but we do, we try to weigh rationally, what market is there, to try and justify getting back
where the numbers are, right?
There's a lot that I think is shared. We do know control arms and a few things are different on XD. A handful of stuff different, obviously it's bigger, but I don't know that I'll build stuff, and we're not quite to jumping trucks yet. I want to get there.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would jump to an XD as being my go-to for
at 2,500 trucks a month and only 150 of them are XDs. I don't think there's a big market for it.
Yeah, and in truth, if you're buying an XD, you're leaning more towards something that you're going to be towing with if you want, and so you're probably not going to be as, if you're going to go by percentages and thinking about the reason why somebody bought an XD is because they needed a little bit more tow haul rating. They might need it a little bit more for work and stuff like that. So you're going to be less into modifying it for the off-road or whatever, lifting or whatever, I think. So it just doesn't really calculate correctly, in my opinion, towards something that might be the way to go.
Hey, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Spencer.
It's a tough class of truck. I think kind of the XD trying to slide in there, just sub 2,500 thing. It doesn't do. It does. I think it does a lot of things well, and it fits more people's needs than I think see it. But on paper, if you're going to compare it to a 250s and all the king of the class stuff, like it's.
Well, I've said it for a long time is they should kill the XD, but they don't kill it. They just make it the current Titan and be done with it. Like, and you're like, oh, now the Titan's up to 1,400 whatever towing, and like suddenly it has the bigger brakes and everything, and nobody would ever know really the difference. But let's see. So
it'd be a really badass 1,500.
It would be. But let's look at all the 1,500s now. They're not clearly 1,500s anymore. They're all 2,500s anymore. Ramesh asks, does installing a catch can mitigate direct injection carbon buildup?
Yeah, I'd say we've seen
Spencer.
Yeah, we've seen improvements with that.
Really?
So I would say it completely, takes away the need, but I would say we've seen improvements from it, absolutely.
Well,
so biggest thing a lot of times with catch can stuff is on race vehicles.
Yeah.
We're seeing ones where the engine is being boosted to such a high level that the factory style PCV system, where it's routed to flow and it's a metered leak and it's run through baffles and everything. It works fine in the stock form most times. And if you had a catch can on most direct injected things be fine. But what we find to be problems is that the concept of crankcase pressure on heavily boosted vehicles becomes a problem, and it shows itself as oil leaks and things like that, because you get so much crankcase pressure that gaskets and seals start leaking, and a lot of times we're guiding clients, if it's you got a 600 horsepower Z or truck, I guess it'll be, and you keep having rear main seal leaks and stuff like that. Well, put a vented catch can on your race car and make sure it can breathe and take that away. All of a sudden, the leaks go away. So if you weren't like putting a sensor on there and measuring pressure all the time, you'd know you made a good improvement there. Right. So, but I think on the carbon buildup thing, absolutely good go-to, especially if you're up.
So have you guys ever approached stuff like the Rogue? I mean, and why I'm asking this is because I know it sounds silly in the beginning, but I'm seeing more and more people, like the Rogue is starting to get like a little weird, kind of a jukey Xterra kind of a crowd. Now I've seen them dropping them slightly. They're putting wheels and stuff on them. And now it's a CVT transmission, so it is what it is. But is there ever, like, they sell so many of those things. Is there ever like you go, wow, that's sort of an untapped market of like little performance gains?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would lead with that as we scale and have better support, to take care of it. It's definitely, I made the case about the Z market being this and the truck market being, a lot wider. The Rogue market is certainly massive.
Right. Was there anything common within that?
But the Rogue aftermarket market, there's a big difference there. There might be more Rogues, but how many guys are actually like, who is making Rogues super fast?
Well, but I'm seeing like, I would have never thought the Juke initially you would see stuff like that, or like Sentra. Like who would have when the Sentra came out? Who would ever thought you'd see all these?
The Juke has a turbo. You put a turbo on anything, somebody's going to boost the pressure on it immediately. It doesn't matter what it is, Dave. The second you have a turbo on a car from a factory, someone's like, turn it up. That's all. It's the only thing. The second you see a turbo on anything, somebody's like, oh, we can turn it up. Oh, we can just push it. Oh. And it's like, choo choo ka-choo. Let's get some power, bro. So that's why the second you get the Juke with the turbo in it, you're like, let's do this thing. Even if it looks like your mom after a hot bath with a sauna and you're a little swollen, you still get after it.
Where is this going? What happened? Over there, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the views and opinions of Daniel Groders are not the views and opinions of the Nissan Nation.
Wow. Hey, that was...
That's what the Juke looks like. Don't lie. That's what the Juke looks like.
If we were to dip our
sauna,
if we were to dip our toe in Rogue and stuff, I think it'd be more on a support function, at least first, and not because like I'm just chasing everything, but like we find with the Z cars, a lot of Nissan owners are very brand loyal, and I find that a lot of sports car enthusiasts also have another Nissan. It could be a Frontier, an Altima, a Rogue, or maybe one of those sweet Murano cabriolets. I really like those. Maybe we could be the kings of that market.
Well, maybe that you could get into the tops for them, because the tops are what, $6,000 to have those replaced, more than the car's worth.
Total loss, sir. We're sorry.
Well,
hot cubes, hot boy cubes.
Hey! Don't you be dogging the cube now.
Oh man, the Juke's gonna be like one of those diehard cult followings for years and years. I think.
No,
they're gonna be like, I like Grand Nationals, I like Cyclones, I like Jukes. All right, man. All right, bro.
Ouch.
No, but there is like, the more I dig into the Juke itself, like Europe is all about the Juke. Like I was amazed, and there's been a couple things I've noticed about it. If they would have just changed here in the States, like the goofy air conditioner / push button for sport mode, whatever, I don't know, whatever you would call that thing. Like there's some just goofiness about the cars that they could have just changed. And like wheels, they put the ugliest wheels on that car I've ever seen in my life. But it's a fun, stupid, and Spencer, I was saying this before that, it's a fun, stupid car. It makes no sense. You look at the thing and I'm like, that's a hot mess of a car. But you get behind the wheel, and Danny, when you fly out here, I cannot wait for you to drive this Juke.
Dave, I want, and Spencer, I want this to be part of, I want you to be part of this. I want birthday burnouts in September.
All right.
I need it. I haven't done a fatty burnout because, one, I'm too scared of my Z because I'm going to blow the timing belt right off of it. It's probably got 400 other things that are about to go.
Dude, you got to fix that.
I've told him for a long time to fix this thing.
Listen, Spencer, I just dropped $3,400 on wiring on my race truck. All right, I can't afford timing belts.
Look at
Yes, I agree. I'm
You're
gonna
hurting-
change the timing belt.
You're hurting Spencer's feelings over there, Danny. Look at him. Jeez.
I wanted to do I wanted to do my next video in the red truck, a fat burnout after I did the hot tune in it. I wanted to go find a nice place, do a fat burnout, and of course I get freaking rear-ended. And who knows when I'm gonna get my red truck back? Hopefully in weeks. But I want birthday burnouts. I want to do fat burnouts.
Hey,
like
Danny.
your videos that you show.
You know what would
birthday
pay? You know what would
burnouts,
help?
please.
You know what would help burnouts if people would sign up for our Patreon account. Then you could do burnouts in your
Signing
Z.
up for the Patreon. We promise to bring birthday burnouts if you guys would go and sign up to our Patreon.
But we are actually we're about to
use
do some
Nissan-
exclusive content for Patreon, so you might want to be a part of that, everybody. Spencer, dude, I'm sorry you had to hear Danny ramble there for a bit and go on to Danny isms as I call them. But dude, I appreciate you being on here tonight. One last question. What is the future for Z1? Because I know you guys you're just broke ground on your larger showroom. You guys, like, I went down there and documented, you get all kinds of cool cars. What, you got a Z or you've got the Frontier race truck, or there's a Titan race truck that I think you guys got or had in shop. You had the Titan Warrior down there. Plus, you guys got these cars that you guys have built over the years that are just freaking amazing, man. So where's the future going for you guys?
Oh man, there's a lot going on at Z1 right now, and to be a part of the team is amazing. I'm not gonna lie for me, because I feel like I've never seen it performing as well as it has, despite the craziness that is 2020. It's just all cylinders are firing, and we are trying to scour the world to find the best people to add to our team. We've got tons of space there, like as we grow.
Do y'all need a media department? Because me and Danny will come like make bad videos for you.
I could just sit there and shout out Dannyisms for about 20 minutes.
Maybe we'll do that on contract. All right, like, I like the Dannyisms, and I like birthday burnouts. All these things these are good things. I agree wholly.
Right in your wheelhouse, right?
But we just want to continue to try and grow as best we can to take care of our own employees, our customers, and many are now like great friends. I mean, I've been on some crazy adventures with people that were once my customer, and now I've been in weddings. We've traveled places. It's such a great thing to be an enthusiast culture, to be in the segment, to say that this is work, that it's like a living, is kind of a blessing. So for us, I mean, we're growing. Space is the challenge right now. It has been a crunch we've been feeling for some time, and we've made some additions. If you look at the building, that video they did with the Panaway on Taylor, and you can get a sense of how much we're adding. The original building was that front section and then the center section. And now you can tell in the back, it's been expanded off the sides. Now we're popping out front. I mean, these guys are doubling the footprint on the thing, and the way things are going, which is pretty good. I don't know that by the time we're, opening that thing, we're not going to be trying to figure out what's next. And I think that's pretty exciting. So I don't know. There's a lot, but we're staying true. I mean, Nissan is a big animal for us to conquer. There's a lot more support that we can do across. I think namely the number one thing is the enthusiast segment vehicles that are key to all our hearts. And then after that, if people start convincing us to help their daily driver Rogues and Ultimas and all that, I'm sure we'll find a way to help.
Always selling there. Always selling.
Without like trying to
ABC, baby. That's my style. I like it.
You mentioned that Juke, and that Juke is a quirky little thing. And years ago, there was quite the debate after hours at Z1 with many of our team that been here a long time about what it would do to Z1 to introduce and bring on other models that were outside of our little tight universe. The Z community and the sports car group, pretty hardcore, and we were kind of right there with them. And from being inside that meeting, I don't want to say debate, but there was quite a bit of opinion of what it would do to tarnish us as a brand, or if we were to add Juke or FX35, and we did it. we added it. Now we haven't gone off the rocker and abandoned our core values and our core segment. We just can't stop. We literally are like addicted to the crack, and we are the crack house, and it's madness. But I think it'll be okay as long as we're taking care of the things that matter most, which are those enthusiast group things that we can help out on the other. We get requests for it all the time, but there was quite there were heated opinions on if that was a go no go thing. So I'd love to see some more. I'd like to see the Akabono kit we got for Duke, like right on the cusp. Like I would love to see that come out so people get this sweet, awesome deal on great 14-inch brake kits for their Juke. I'm
over here just like, hey, I have a Juke.
There's a template on the site. Cut it out, put it in the wheel, make sure it gets installed.
But if you guys, for one, go to Z1 Motorsports and Z1 Offroad. Now this, since they are working to build the off-road side, guys, shop off-road first. Go through off-road to do anything, man. It does help show that the truck community needs Z1's help on that. But I love the fact when you go to their website that when you click off, you go to another link that you guys have a little song lyric up at the top. And that's fun. Like the website, it's really for aftermarket. It's one of the best websites I really have ever seen. Like you guys have put a lot of detail and a lot of thought into that website. But guys, please, if you need something, at least give Z1 a chance. And they do OEM parts too. So, and I the other day I bought a canister,
which is a big deal, Dave.
Yeah, I bought a charcoal canister from Z1 the other day. I needed it, and I could have went to Regal or anybody else and bought it. And I wanted to go through Z1. And me and Danny are not by any means on Z1's payroll to say any of this. Like we've grown to like Spencer and just like dealing with good companies. And I feel like if we put our name on something like this, that it should mean something. Like, once again, we're not by any means being paid to say Spencer's an awesome guy, because I don't know, his wife was back there yelling at him a minute ago before the show started about a picture and something about a QR code in the back.
Dave, there's people that come into the Nissan community, and especially because we've been around for a long time, especially in the truck world, that do it the wrong way. These dogs just kind of just hop in and start slinging and talking smack or whatever. Spencer has, and Z1's, I say Spencer because we've been in contact with him and we've talked to him. They have come forward and they said, listen, we're moving into the off-road market, and they've talked to us, they've talked to other people, and they've done their research, and they're doing their research, and they're putting in the work to make sure that when they offer something, it's got some clout to it. And I appreciate that. I don't want somebody just throwing something out there that they like tested on their buddy's car one time. They got some anecdotal buster evidence that some Bilstein works, and then 14 people buy him because they're other buddies that found him. And then everybody realizes that is the worst combination you could possibly do because it's terrible for your ball joint angles. I don't know if that's a good story.
Danny, it out. What are you barking about? What are you barking about?
I don't know.
There's a zero buster.
What I'm saying is,
you like check that box before you can move forward. No, we didn't.
Yeah. But you know what? They've come forward humbly saying we want to do stuff for you guys, and they've really, in my opinion, they've been nothing but great. In my experience, whether it was Z parts or Dave's Juke parts or parts for my truck, and it's just and that was from us buying parts from them before we had a relationship with Spencer too. We were just buying parts, and it's good stuff. So we want to promote them and do their thing for them. So we appreciate you coming on tonight, Spence.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's been fun, dude.
So, any SEMA plans? I mean, I don't know that they've not officially said they're canceled or anything, but anything fun coming up soon for you guys?
Just gotta click that subscribe, right? Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know what's in the works over there. It's tight-lipped. So
well, I'm sure there's something fun in your back warehouse being built. So guys, once again, go to z1offroad.com or z1motorsports.com and ask for the Spencer deal. I was told that Spencer gets special deals.
Yeah,
And
you
Spencer
got
loves
extra money.
he loves personal emails. Like if you want to just email him and tell him how much he was awesome on the show. And no, but in all seriousness, Spencer, thank you for being on tonight.
We'll post his personal home phone as soon as we log off. We'll post his personal number right up. You can call him straight. He enjoys calls after 6 o'clock.
Make sure well, send me the photos.
That's right. And he's got the rogue special guys. So
That's a Dannyism right there.
well, so guys, from all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to way over there in LA and down at Z1 in Atlanta, guys, it's been fun. I don't know what more else to say, but Danny, what are we?
Oh,
Peace, everybody. Love y'all.